MAPness, let's go. We got Haunted Mines, the second match in the first round, and on the left side we got the Dead Insiders. I actually don't even know if this is Dead Insiders or the Dead Insiders, but either way, these guys obviously have been around for a long time now. So we got Shizakid on Johanna, we got Bishops on Blaze, Anime Powers playing Gul'dan, Limo on Tracer as so often, and Alex Batman is playing Regar. On the right side of the map, we got the Raiders, the Finland Raiders with Unforgiven on Anduin, Nano on Hanzo, and Nano on Bishops, the two players that usually fight for Hanzo here. In this case, Bishops actually playing another frontliner. We got Gavlo on Genji, Sven on Urel, and Swamgrotta is playing Murden. First round of the tournament, still we are in the winner bracket between these two teams. Gul'dan going into the also famous Saki Saki build, so he's going full drain on us right now with the Chaotic Energy on level 1. And we are back on Haunted Mines. So, are they going to go for the objective? We don't have a Sylvanas here. Sylvanas is, of course, one of the heroes that kind of caused the downfall of Haunted Mines as a competitive map quite a bit. Well, obvious other factors to be considered as well, but she was definitely a big one. Now we got a quick kill against Jojo, so already Johanna is gone all the way up at the top. We currently got Bishops and Sven locked into a 1v1 here. And at the same time, Tracer is starting to rush around a bit. The camps are spawning in a couple of seconds, so everybody is checking out the pumpkins right now. But with Limo and Tracer, we're gonna see him try and dive into that back line and needle them to death. And Limo obviously is either playing Tracer or he's playing Genji whenever he has an opportunity. And in this case, they don't have the light bomb engage possible for themselves because Genji and Anduin get played on the other side. The Raiders are clearly trying to come in with a light bomb and then use the Swift Strike to hard engage into the back line. And actually, again, suffering quite a bit of damage here. This time it's Murden, and that leads to both teams logging in one kill. But Rega a bit low here. He's not the only one on the other hand. Gavlo with Genji was also starting to struggle. Now, it's kind of interesting because the teams did not go and simply divvy up those pumpkin camps. Instead, they were trying to fight over the one up at the top. And, well, that led to the blue team taking a small lead here. Now, the first objective is going to spawn in roughly 30 seconds. And then we're going to see if they're really committing to any kind of play at the mines or if they're just trying to push up at the top. We've seen both strategies, of course, in the past. And again, a nice jet propulsion here for Bishops. I gotta say, I like that. They go for Nano and they take him down. Nano eliminated. And that leads also to a pretty severe push up at the top that will likely cost them the wall. The siege shines are enhancing that even further. And the only thing that stops them from losing more is the rotation towards the top. But Tracer, well, she bites the dust. Nice move here by Gavlo, able to come in with Genji and take Tracer down. So job well done. We have both teams now on level 4. And a few more camps to be claimed, but the mines are now slowly opening, and that means that we're going to have the teams fight for at least a couple of skulls here. Now, with the first golem is always a bit difficult because you really got to decide, is it really worth it for you? They don't really scale that fast early on, so do you really want to spend time in the mines? Would you rather stay at the top, try and control a couple of mercenary camps, maybe push some structures down? So there's a lot of choices to be made. Depends also a bit on the heroes that you're using. If you have somebody that can very quickly get those mines together. AoE obviously reigning supreme in a lot of these situations. And another thing that they can also do is try and use the mines a bit to maybe sneak up on one of the teams. But Murden is the one that makes it into the mines first, so Swamgrotta not really interested in those camps, at least for now, simply because he also doesn't have the best wave clear. Yeah, we have Tracer trying to zip away here. Limo is able to make it out after initially running into 3 opponents. But the rest of the team is now moving through the mines, trying to see if they can get some free skulls. It hasn't happened so far. Another nice bomb connected with Gavlo, but he uses the shield, and with that, with the deflect in, we now have everybody still alive and kicking. Spray game is on point, I gotta say. So we actually got quite a bit of that. Alex Batman in particular seems to really love his spray. I mean, I'm not really that excited about it, but I'll give him points. It's not the pleb spray, so that in and of itself is already a win. And I mean, there are some really, really good sprays, I gotta say. There's some fantastic sprays. The boss, as you can see down here, is still up. Nobody has really gone for that. And all the way up at the top now, they're going to try and make another little play for the last and final tower that we have on that outer wall. But yeah, Tracer with good damage. I mean, the entire time we got Limu at 8,200 right now, needling more so than anything else. Gul'dan is currently in the top position with the 11,000 that he's bringing to the table. And as that stands, here comes the fight for the camp. Once again, last time the blue team was able to lock it in, but now we're getting the Raiders taking the kill on Bishops and locking the camp into. So 3 kills to 2. Nano's a bit low, and bam! Tracer goes down as well. Nicely done, well played. They get the double kill, they get a bit of an advantage in experience, the early level 7, and nobody is so far going for the skulls in the mines. They have an upper hand now in terms of numbers on the board, so they might send somebody down there. But we have seen this, of course, already in the past. The mines were oftentimes ignored. And this is where especially heroes like Sylvanas come into play. A lot of teams just simply have figured out that they don't even have to go for those skulls, that oftentimes they are just better served to go for mercenary camps, to push structures, and to try to damage. And even if they would end up losing the golem, they would net a benefit in damage that they've done with that strategy. So that's one of the reasons why Haunted Mines slowly disappeared from them. Not the only reason, there's plenty, honestly, but that definitely left the map behind a little bit. But then again, you can still get value, and if your opponent doesn't have a lot to stop a golem, then you can also enhance, of course, a push. So if you get a few, I don't know, you kill a couple of heroes, you have a numbers advantage, you can send somebody down and slowly nibble on those skulls, so you can do really a lot. But either way, as it stands, we now have at the top lane still the pressure applied against the fort, whereas down at the bottom of the map, not a single wall has fallen yet, but this is exactly what the Raiders are now trying to change. They break through the gate and are trying to take the towers down too, but the main pressure is really still being applied at the top lane. The red team, they have an advantage in experience, but as you can tell, the fort here, it's suffering. Now Anduin, he's using the mines to now just move to the top lane. Didn't really want to cross the middle there and potentially run into opponents. But right now, maybe an opportunity for Genji to get a couple. Is he going to make a play? It seems like we are finally going to get a couple of skulls. Yeah, no. Nope, Gavlo waiting for a cooldown and then jumping back out. But yeah, level 10 soon ready for both teams. But it's kind of amusing that nobody is going for any sort of skulls just yet. And keep in mind, this is not a winner-takes-all situation, so it always depends on how many skulls you get, and your golem is going to scale accordingly. So if you get 100 to 0, that makes a huge difference. But nobody's making any moves. Now that we have level 10 abilities, the light bomb engage with Genji is possible. And the light bomb gets hit on Muradin. I have to believe that that was a misclick from Anduin. They probably wanted to give Genji an opportunity to dive in and take Tracer down, but I believe he didn't have the cooldown anymore. Either way, it didn't make a difference because Muradin accidentally received it. Yeah, nice arrow against Gul'dan in the back here, but he doesn't get targeted, and now Genji's again in trouble. Bunker is out, Horrify being used too, Urel pops the ult, and everybody disengages and nobody dies. Nobody has fallen in that encounter. We have now 4 kills to 2 still. And yeah, quite a few abilities being used in that last fight. Extract for Genji, we got the Rega Ancestral also still available. And I believe that, I mean, at some point they're going to try and grab a couple of these skulls. Limu, he's also checking, and there we go. Attaboy, nice. Skulls in the house. So, finally, after 8 minutes, they're going for a few of the camps. Now, obviously, the red team knows this immediately, so they're not making any moves for this yet. Instead, they're going for the camps on the map. This is something that I highlighted a bit earlier, that this can be one of the strategies that you employ here. And, well, we'll see how exactly this is now going to help the blue team to push through this. Yeah, we got 4 kills to 2, but I have to believe that he has some kind of back. Like, I mean, this guy is hammering his sprays time and time again. Big arrow. Rega got absolutely wrecked here. Oh boy, he got crushed, absolutely crushed. I mean, the poor guy, first he gets attacked, then after we have the initial engage, the arrow comes in from Hanzo and it hits him straight in the face before he can even think about using his Ancestral. So, yeah, that definitely was a bit of an issue. Now, we got on the right side, still in the mines, we got still Urel taking a couple of skulls now also for the red team. So they haven't just set at the top and decided to not go for it at all. They just really waited for the opponent to make the first move, and now they're trying to clamor for at least some skulls. Tracer was also still busying herself down here. But all in this game so far, in the first 10 minutes, the Raiders definitely a bit more aggressive. They are also the team that has been able to get more kills. Structurally, an advantage for the blue team, as we have the Dead Insiders with the fort at the top side already eliminated. But it's definitely an interesting interplay between the teams here. Now down at the bottom of the map, we have a Horrify that could cost potentially Genji his life, but they're focusing not well enough, so he is able to get away. 56 skulls against 16. Yeah, that did not work out at all. Poor Genji. He wants to go for light bomb engage, and then he gets absolutely flattened. The bunker came out in time and saved everybody else, and Genji just didn't have an opportunity whatsoever here. We're definitely going to take another look at that. But yeah, let's see how this is going to pan out. It seems like the red team is still hoping for a second kill, and they're going for Ando in here, but that's not quite working out. But yeah, a quick look at the kill. Look at the bunker coming out. So Genji taps the fountain, then they're engaging with him in the light bomb, and Blaze is having none of it. Immediately shuts him down, and then Gul'dan says, "See ya!" Comes in and just slaps him hard. Now he's back already, and the arrow is soaked up by Jojo, but now we got 5 kills to 3. We have level 13 on the board. Jojo is down, but the rest of the team is also not looking too good. Now Urel isn't even here. This was a 5 versus 4 when it all started, and the fight just continues with now also Tracer falling. That's 7 kills to 3 in favor of the Raiders. So, on the left side, there is still a fully open fort now that they could attack to try and draw even in structures. But this first game is quite something. I mean, the Raiders, as it stands, should slowly start to get a little bit ahead here. They have a half-level lead now, but if they can keep up the kills, especially in these big team fights, then they will have a bigger advantage as the game continues because of the increased death timers. So more time with a numbers advantage on the map allows you to go for more camps, allows you to go for the objective. Gul'dan still continuing with the Saki build here, more drain life for him. We got the harvest life on level 13, and so far he's just matching icons. Yeah, nice attempt by Blaze to get a stun out, but Urel paying attention, so good job by Sven, stopping him cold and trying to turn it around against him. Did not work out 100%, but still, well done. We now have Gav low, probably waiting for the light bomb again. They got the cooldown back just now. So if they want to engage on Gul'dan, for example, they could still try to do that. Now the only thing that's still available in the mines is, by the way, the big boss. So this one you could still start to attack, but normally that happens when you got a numbers advantage. So you need to get a little bit more. Well, hello, Blaze. No bunker, no nothing. This time they got him. Ah, the arrow still flying as we get Gul'dan taken out. Guys, this is 9 kills to 3. Now, granted, Hanzo dies, but still, we have now a huge advantage in kills time and time again for the Raiders. And the death timers, they are increasing, and that should give the red team an opportunity to capitalize on these engages and these little victories even more so. So, it's not quite over yet here at the top. But we got the Ancestral now out, so they're trying to re-engage. Blessed hammers everywhere, by the way. Jojo just doing her thing. But level 16 is now dangerously close for the Raiders and could even pop in this fight if it continues. But I just love how the Dead Insiders do not care that they are outnumbered. They are just fighting. They're just hoping to get a chance. Now, it backfires heavily. They lose Jojo just as Blaze is about to be back. Pleb horse, by the way. Yeah. And in the meantime, we now got 44,000 for Hanzo. Anduin is still rushing through the mines here. And 54,000 for Gul'dan. But the level 16 is now ready. So they got level 16. Still a bit more. I mean, they're really closing in on an entire level lead over the opponent. But having the talent advantage and also the numbers advantage should really help them. First of all, they're again trying to go for another arrow. Nicely done by Alex Batman, by the way. Waiting for the arrow to also connect so that he could probably use his own level 7. his own cleanse and then play around that to help out Gul'dan here. If that stun would have properly connected and not being cleansed out, then it would have been the end of Gul'dan for sure. They would have followed up on that. But they were able to save it for now. The red team has, on the other hand, jumped down into the mines with the help of Hanzo and is trying to drop this quickly, which means that they are finally locking in this golem. Now, it's a bit of a weird situation for them, because no matter how many of those skulls they take, they will always have the weaker golem. Not by a lot, but still by a little bit. 56 skulls against 44. But if you assume that eventually it's going to be taken anyways, then you might as well go for it early on. Also because you prevent your opponent from getting an absolutely massive one. The one thing to point out here is that on both the lanes where the golems will travel, we still have the forts in play. So the Dead Insiders would have to try and take the bot lane out here if they want to progress a little bit further with this. But it seems that both of them kind of go for defense. Normally, if you have a team that has a bigger golem, like the rule of thumb was always the bigger golem pushes. A rule of thumb. There are always exceptions. It depends a little bit on what kind of team composition you're playing, what heroes you have to properly de-push. This is a very even one, and they didn't want to sacrifice anything. They probably also not really see the advantage in pushing the bot lane here. But rule of thumb is, if you get a big golem, you try to enhance that push further and really just go for gold. Situation on the map, again, sometimes changes the equation, but we'll see if they apply that later on. As both teams now have level 16, they are also jonesing for a fight, as it seems. So yeah, Blessed Shield has already been used. They're trying to go for the kill. Anduin is down. Quick kill against the Crybaby. So now we have Anduin eliminated, and they're hoping for a second kill. Gavlo gets also caught, and Holla die Waldfee, the Dead Insiders, with a quick double kill at the beginning of the fight, which allows them to push the top even more. And they're even looking for another kill. Hanzo barely made it out of this one, but has to still be careful. I mean, the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you, or one of the most embarrassing things, is to be taken down by one of JoJo's hammers there towards the end after you already thought you made it. But this is still a little bit crazy, because this was a pretty solid lead for the red team, and now they are looking at their keep losing hit points super quickly. So they might lose the entire thing. But Anduin is back in 2, Genji in 10, so I guess eventually the Dead Insiders will have to fall back and can't quite go for the structure yet. But still, they're doing a great job taking control of this game. And it's still strange to me, because we had how many kills? 9-3? 10-3? That's what it initially looked like, and that obviously was a big advantage in team fights, in control of the map, but structurally, Vinland Raiders never made any headway. So now they are down 1 fort, half the keep lost, half the keep hit points are lost, and also at the bot lane they suffered a lot of damage on their second fort. Situation isn't really all that great right now. So what we're seeing instead is them hoping for level 20. There's of course also another set of skulls now spawning in the mines, so you could go for another golem if you really wanted to. They at least get the pumpkins, so good on them, but they also have to deal with this top push, because this is going to take their keep down very quickly if nobody's making a move for it, and Urel is already on it. So yeah, she's stopping this as quickly as she can. There's still a little bit of damage that's being done to the keep, but it will survive. Forces Urel back on the other hand, but the blue team still failed to get the second pumpkin camp, so even that was now taken by the raiders. So good job by them. No moves towards the mines yet. Could still of course see that in an attempt to go for a golem push. If anything, it's more attractive for the blue team honestly, because that golem would move through the top lane, and that would really help them to go for the keep. So yeah, that would be kind of nice. But as it stands, we get now level 20 coming in just half a level, so that's the opportunity for the raiders to maybe force a bigger fight. In regards to damage, we got Hanzo with 53,000, but he doesn't really hold a candle to Gul'dan. Now Blaze is already moving down here, and so does Urel. The two side laners are starting to take the first few skulls, as the rest of the team is still fighting a little bit or skirmishing up at the top. But now even Tracer is following up on this, and the blue team is in full force moving to the mines in an attempt to get ahead here. So Urel doing a great job on the right side. Even she gets a little bit of assistance, but it seems like it's more or less going to be an even split in skulls, at least initially, which leaves us once again with the big golem to try and make a move. I mean, look at Swampwater. Coming in here, trying to disrupt them a bit. And also trying to trap Bishops, who's now jumping out, but the fight is there. Horrify is in. Arrow by Hanzo. And here comes the X-Strike. But the Ancestral goes through. Gul'dan dead on the other hand, so that's a huge step forward for the Raiders. They kill Tracer, and that is looking great for them. It's an easy triple kill for them. 3 heroes down. They're even trying for a 4th. They got their level 20. And this is just a massive opportunity to finally take some of these structures down. They got a chance to push to the top where a double minion wave is currently accumulating and would help them to take this fort down for sure. They already have down at the bottom of the map Nano trying to solo the boss here. And of course, down to the bottom of the map, Gavlo is also pushing. So they're really pressuring on every single angle. Having 2 lanes that they're pressuring out. They go for the boss. Anduin is helping out a little bit down here. And they're already at 50%. And they're very likely going to be able to take a huge boss here. Now, the fort at the top has not fallen. Down at the bottom of the map, Gavlo with Genji was able to seal the deal, and the team was also still looking for experience. But we have now level 20 on both sides, and, well, here comes the big boy. 72 skulls. So very likely that they're going to try and make a move there. I mean, in an ideal world, you would now try and take the pumpkins. Can you do anything at the top lane? You could go for the fort, but we're 20 minutes into the game, so it stands to reason that they're a little bit more interested in maybe taking the bottom keep down. The problem is that even with only 28 skulls on the boss, with the Siege Giant camp that has now been taken, if you leave the top lane alone, I mean, it's gonna result in your keep at the top lane being destroyed. So they gotta safeguard that. So they really have to try and see, okay, how do we play this? Do we try and push with the boss at the bottom? Maybe even attempt to go for core if we can get a kill or 2? Or do we just reset, go to the top, defend, and then play this out? Genji is currently the only one defending, is also the most mobile that they have here. And, well, down at the bottom of the map, they're looking for the kill. They're trying to get it. And Rega barely saving his ass with a good Ancestral. But the stun against Swampwater. And he's able to jump out, Unforgiven, with a great pull. Anduin proving once and again that he is still the pull-out king, despite him going for the Holy Nova. So he went for Holy Nova here, instead of going for the double pull. Might have been able to save a few more people there. This, by the way, is just, yeah, this is not looking good. If at any point Gul'dan gets close to this, he is going to take it. But now the blue team, they are making a move for the bottom fort. They're going to take this down. Defense is still looking fairly alright for the Dead Insiders, as this boss is not going to be able to take the keep down. It's just not happening. Limo nearly got stunned there. Was able to avoid it from happening, though. But yeah, the boss is actually doing a little bit more damage than I thought, with all the minions around. I really thought they were able to take him down a bit quicker, but that's not really the case. So, yeah, still not able to take the keep, but that was better than expected. Now, we're 22 minutes into the game already. 7 kills against 13. Damage numbers, 72,000 for Gul'dan, 66,000 for Hanzo. And structurally, it was more or less a reset. I mean, yes, that top keep is being held together by spit and some bubblegum. So you just like, yeah, this is going to fall. As soon as anyone moves in there, as soon as they have an open pathway to get close to the keep, this is a goner. But both teams now have lost their forts, so the situation is a bit more equal. And I have no idea who's winning this first game. I mean, this is a best of 3 series. We are in the winner bracket, so who takes the lead? That's the big question. Tracer has fallen 4 times. This might be the last fight. If they're committing both to the battle, this could be the final one. The red team is trying to retreat here. X-Strike is out. Ancestral on Blaze. Not really needed. Better safe than sorry play here from Rega. And he's also the one to take down Murden. So 5 versus 4, and this keep is gone. Question is, of course, can they do more than that? Are they able to move in, go for the core, or at least steal a couple of camps? We got a pumpkin camp that's up on the map. The can open this gate up if they wanted to, if they feel alright, this is a bit of a problem, we would like to follow them later, just prep for the next stage, but they're leaving that. Rega gets baited deep a bit as he's trying to go for a bite on Genji and follows the Swift Strike, but they are now using all the wave that gets provided at the bottom of the map to break through the entire wall. And now we got the undeads spawning again. 14 seconds, meaning Muradin is not going to be back. So if they take an early position in the lower level of the mines, they could get ahead in skulls. Now, they're not doing any of this right now, they're instead focusing on the camps, which isn't really a bad decision either, because it forces the red team now to also invest some time in all of this. They need to defend. And Jojo, she is already starting to make her play. So let's see what they can do with that. They are going with Jojo's Condemn quickly for the first one. We already have the left side more or less covered by the blue team, but also the Raiders are starting to take a bigger interest in those skulls. They know that a late game golem like this could become a problem. Talking about problems, this is a problem. Once again, the catapults just fucking griefing, like unable to pass two siege giants. It's ridiculous. It's absolute and utterly ridiculous. But that makes this a little bit less dangerous than it normally would be. It's still dangerous as is. Everybody is currently hearthing back home. 28 skulls is all that the two teams got. We still have two of the smaller camps and the big one down at the bottom of the map. But yeah, full-on grief right there. I mean, every time I see this, it just makes me angry. The Blizzard in all those years never fixed that. I mean, there's so many different ways on how you could have fixed that, but yeah. Nah, not needed. So yeah, those catapults don't do jack shit. But here it is. 44 skulls against 28, and once again, they're all looking for the fight. Jojo starting to disengage. And yeah, they can still play around that entrance. The good old game around the entrances. Muradin also made it out, and they're still waiting. We dare you. Don't you want to check what's up at the top? But as they do that, Tracer is trying to escort the catapult towards the core. Which hasn't worked so far. But since there's only the golem left at the bottom of the map, that's obviously a big one. And Genji... yeah, he should be safe. Anduin is not pulling him, but had a chance to do that if there was real trouble for him. As it stands, it was all fine, it was all Gucci. But now they're going for the next fight down at the bottom of the map. Spray game still on point on Rega, by the way. He's consistent, I gotta give him that. Throughout the entire game. Oh, the blessed shield! And the hit! Hanzo down, there's the kill. Now they go in for Tracer. It's a kill against the kill, so they're trading still with 4 players on each side, still in the battle, alive and kicking. Top lane pressure against the core in just a second as the catapult is moving far forward, and the second one is coming in. The longer this fight at the bottom of the map lasts, the better for them. Those catapults are going to hit the core eventually, and 26 minutes into the game they're going to hit hard. It's a huge problem actually for the Raiders. They're already retreating, so they need to defend here, but they can't give up the keep either. So 2 catapults already in the core, and you can see these guys are chunking. Now, thankfully for them, Urel is just there, but that is still some points lost. 2 percentage points are already gone. Blue team had a couple of ways how they could have played this. They decided in favor of the pumpkin camps, and are also playing around division again. Tracer and Hanzo are both going to be back soon. And yeah, they are still trying to just jump onto a different lane and blindset them a little bit, which is currently not working. And if you look at the minimap, you can really tell that there's a huge amount of pressure against the Raiders and their structures. With 28 minutes on the clock, this is gonna hit real hard. Once those catapults make their way towards the core or maybe the bottom keep, it's a big problem. Now they're going for the boss, and the red team, they have to react. They can't just let this one slide. If you have a team that all of a sudden takes a 72% boss or 72 skulls, then you are in deep shit. So they are trying to contest this. Boss is taken, and as soon as they take this, the spawn is going to happen. And that could be a problem depending on how long this fight lasts. Ancestral is out. Everybody's still trying to fight it out in the lower levels as they're making a move for Urel, and she goes down. Yrel eliminated. If Muradin dies too, this is likely going to be the end. Yeah, the triple kill. Genji is dead as well, and there is just no doubt anymore who's going to lock in game number 1. I mean, this is... you can't defend this anymore. This is just not happening. Down here, we got Gul'dan with the Saki against Hanzo. That's an easy win for him. And guys, that's all she wrote in game number 1. Haunted Mines. The game's over. Dead Insiders. They take against the Vinland Raiders here on Haunted Mines. Nicely done. Nearly a half-hour game between the two teams as we are kicking the best of 3 of GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Hanamura! Back on Hanamura, everybody. We are still in the first round. And on the left side, with the lead in the series, we got the Dead Insiders here at MAPness. Shizakid on Garrosh, Bishops on Yrel. We got Anime Power on Gul'dan. Limu is playing Maiev. And we got Alex Badman on Rhaegar. On the right side of the map, it's Sven on Rexer. We got Unforgiven on Deckard Cain for the Raiders. Nano on Liming. And Uki on Muradin with Gavlo. This time on Hanzo. Didn't quite work out with the better brother, so this time he's going for Hanzo instead. Also, a quick shout out while we are going through those games to all of the people supporting me on Patreon. Without you guys, this would not be possible. So thanks a lot for that. As already stated in the past, people that support me on Patreon, once that we are going across the threshold, all of that money is going to be used to host more and more tournaments here. And this is just one of the examples. So if you're interested in formats like this, and you have some fun with that, you want to support it, then you can head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There is a link in the description of the video if you're watching this on YouTube. Or you can also, of course, support the stream in the merch shop that we recently added. So we have now a merch shop with some things, some Marks t-shirts and so on. You should definitely check them out. A little bit of a cheek and tongue thing here around the fruit fly. And if you haven't seen it yet, a link can also be found in the description. But in particular, a big shout out to the patrons here who made tournaments like this possible. And honestly, it's cool because it allows me to also explore some additional formats. MAPness is obviously a really good example of all of that, but MAPness with bringing Haunted Mines back, bringing Blackheart's Bay back is kind of cool. And I have to say that there's a pretty big chance that for the next MAPness, when it's more about the hero picks and the rules around that, that there's also an opportunity to maybe force at least the occasional Haunted Mines or Blackheart's Bay. I don't want to combine the two formats too heavily, but I think there's a little bit of wiggle room to make map number 1 maybe a bit more interesting. So we'll see when the next one happens. But okay, either way, with this we now got Bishops getting attacked very quickly, eats the Stormbolt and gets Muradin. Well, he got Hanzo. So Muradin pretty much did all the work, and then Hanzo came in and went for the kill steal. So yeah, that was a quick one right there. So we got 2 kills against 2 already, and the Sentinel is starting to march through the top lane. Oh, okay, forget it. Hunter-Gatherer. For just a second I thought, I looked at it the wrong way, and I thought for just a moment that he locked in the Animal Husbandry, and I was like, damn, someone has balls. Going straight into Animal Husbandry against the Maiev? Whew. But no. It's just the Hunter-Gatherer, so a standard pick. Haven't seen Animal Husbandry in a while. And seems like Nano is also gonna get crushed. Talk about seeing things. Li Ming, not a hero you see a whole lot these days. It's actually a bit bananas. She was the darling of all the damage dealers for a long time, but lately Li Ming has more or less disappeared from the top level play. Now, occasionally she is still being played on Battlefield of Eternity, where in stalemate situations she can be pretty impactful, but generally speaking, not nearly as present in top-level meta anymore as she once was. So she's definitely suffered. Lately, Gul'dan is being played more than her, just to name one. But, well, as it stands, we have 4 kills against 2 in favor of the Dead Insiders. So I still don't really know if they're just dead inside, or if we're really talking and they kind of like just talk about plurals, or if we're talking about dead insiders. I mean, I'm not quite sure what exactly the play here is, but yeah, either way. Also, a little bit of a side note, by the way, there's probably going to be a couple of people, no matter how many times I say this, there's always at least one or two, especially on YouTube, that pop up and ask like, no, why is there no draft? Why don't you cover drafts? Pretty simple, guys. Some of the games are commented by replays. If you don't see a draft on YouTube, it always means that the game was commented from a replay. And in the context of MAPness, it's pretty simple. There were so many games played out at the same time that I couldn't cover every single game live. That would have just... yeah, it would have taken way too long. So some of the games are covered by replays after the fact. And that's exactly what you're currently watching here. So... just as a little bit of a side note here. Every single time there is a draft available, it will be covered and then also uploaded. But somehow that question is still popping up quite regularly, at least on YouTube. Rega, I mean, he might have thought that they can take the cam, so I guess there's a little bit of a win there. That's actually going way better for them than I thought. Damn! After Rega just committed more or less Sudoku, just standing on the point while Deckard Cain did his thing, I was for a second thinking like, dude, like what the hell? But they got the camp because of it, and they even got a counter kill, so not bad. Rega buying them some time for the rotation to happen really worked out in their favor. What a loyal dog. What a loyal dog. I mean, that little puppy literally just sacrificed himself for the good of the team. Yeah, I talked the other day a little bit about how I was also in Germany for Christmas, visiting family, and it's honestly funny because my dad, they have a new dog, and it's they got him from the shelter, and the dog is allegedly 3 years old, and I'm like, yeah, I don't believe that. 30, I believe. 3, no fucking way. That dog identifies as a cat, I swear to God. I heard the expression lazy dog. I mean, there's a German idiom that says like lazy dog, and I never really understood it. Because I've never encountered an actual dog, and dogs, by the way, they start at knee height. Everything else is not a dog. That's a rat in disguise, especially if you're carrying it around in a purse or in a stroller. So yeah, dogs start at knee height, and I've never experienced a lazy one of these. I mean, don't get me wrong, dogs will enjoy the occasional summer sun and summer afternoon outside and be a little bit on the lazy side, but the expression never made sense to me. Because all the dogs that I know, you show them a stick or you show them a ball and they're getting super excited. They want to fight and wrestle with you, they want to chase things, and they're just always up to go for a quick run or whatever. But that dog is just absolutely insane. If you go for a walk with that dog walks to the nearest corner, does his business, and then looks at you and is like, well, can we please go back? I've never seen anything like it. All the dog wants is to get scratched all day long. And outside of that, any kind of movement is too much. It was unbelievable. I mean, really unbelievable. So, super interesting to me. But yeah, very interesting experience there. And we had quite a few dogs when I was younger, but damn, that thing... Again, I don't believe that that dog is 3 years old. 30, maybe, but not 3. That's impossible. I saw that dog run once, and that was when we had another dog over during the couple of days where I visited, and they were playing for like maybe 5 minutes, and then he immediately retreated into the corner. I was like, alright, I'm done for the day. That was enough running. Fuck this shit. Moving? Nah. Talk about moving things. The game is moving along nicely. We're on level 10 already. We got the heroics, and whew, the old man is getting crushed. Yeah, later, Boomer. He's down, and so is Li Ming. And Li Ming is not really having a good game, is she now? She's currently sitting on 2 deaths. We have 17,000 damage. Damage department is looking not too shabby. Together with Hanzo and with Gul'dan, she's top damage here. And Maiev is not doing too bad either. But the game is raging back and forth a little bit. It's just that the kill count this time is so different from what we experienced in game number 1. We got 10 kills to 3 right now in favor of the blue team. And they're the ones in the lead. Now, this is obviously a tournament with a winner and a loser's bracket, so if you decide the series in your favor, good for you, but the opponent is not necessarily out yet. They have another chance in the lower bracket, and if the Raiders don't want to experience that right from the get-go, they have to start making some moves here. Now, they took Urel down as they claim the camp at the bottom of the map, so good for them. If they can take the Sentinel, that would be pretty awesome. I mean, these bad boys, they hit hard. So if you can try and play around the payload a little bit, but also steal the opponent's Sentinel camp, then you're in a really good spot. And they're doing some nice moves here. Rega is in trouble. Gets locked down by the sleeper setup from Deckard Payne. And then they come in, get the double kill. Rega down, Gul'dan down, and Maiev eliminated. Whew. Baby, that was pretty neat. You got a Sentinel and you get a triple kill. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. If they're now also able to lock in the payload, that would of course be jackpot, but look at that fight. They hold their position, they get Deckard Cain out, and then the arrow from Hanzo just hitting fully on point allows them to get 3 kills in the camp, and now they can even push for the bottom wall at the fort. Now, of course, all of this comes also with an experience gain that now leads to level 13. They got the extra talent, and that gives us the super healing potions and the illusionist over here. So yeah, so far so good. I mean, again, Saki build from Gul'dan, same as we saw in game number 1. And he's doing fairly well with it. Decimate is something I should probably also point out. We don't have the Warlord's Challenge here. Shizakid has also played that a few times in the past, but yeah, now we get it again. Disc just missing from Maiev. Bit of an attempt to go for a quick Liming kill, but that kind of backfired. Urel still able to do some work at the bottom of the map. So the teams are fairly evenly matched, I would say. 10-7, level 13 on both sides. And, well, Bishops gets caught off guard a bit, but his ult is going to be back in a few seconds. He has a rotation coming to assist him. Not a big problem for him, so he is totally fine here. Now, at the top, we still got the Sentinel moving through. That's obviously a small advantage that they have. And since the blue team is currently fighting for a camp, if they're... I was about to say, if they're getting delayed a little bit further, then that Sentinel is going to do some work at the top. Didn't quite work out that way, but as they are going for the Sentinel, we have at the same time Garrosh finding himself in a lot of trouble. Horrify had to be used. Arrow is out. Bishops is jumping in deep. They're still trying to go for Garrosh, but Rega with a heal. Urel with her ult, and Misha goes down. An unbearable situation here. She made it into the fight, clawed her way into the battle, and was barely able to stun a few of them out to save the rest for them, but then she died a horrible death. It was not impossible for them to save her, but now, of course, Rex are absolutely heartbroken. But yeah, I mean, bear with me here for just a second, but I believe that if they played their cards right, they might have been able to save her. So, Unforgiven with the infamous Deckard flank coming in and trying to like flank maybe with an ult to set up some kills for them. Got a quick stormbolt from Uki. Yeah, another quick flip on Misha, and she is dead again. Yeah, she's getting a little bit murdered over here, doesn't she? Now, at the same time, Liming is trying to go for the payload, and that should just work out. Oh, yeah, alright. No way! Okay, shots are fired. For just a second I thought, like, don't tell me that this actually stopped anything. So, shots are being fired. Payload is in. One of the forts will go down. Both of them, actually. We still have a play up at the top as they're going for the next team fight. We are already looking at 20 kills, by the way. We nearly have 2 kills per hour here. Per hour, per minute. 2 kills per hour. Yeah, not really. Alright, so Misha is not back, has died again. Peter has been informed. By the way, how much of a fucking joke is Peter? Have you guys lately, and with lately I mean the last 10 years or so, looked at any of their campaigns? I mean, these guys are, and I'm not kidding, running around and trying to ban idioms. Like, 2 birds with a stone, for example, you know, because birds have picked up on human language and are heavily insulted when you say anything like that, and it's just not cool. So, yeah, I honestly believe this was just like Babylon Bee-style parody, but they are really that dumb. It's incredible. So, yeah, Never really looked into this. Peter is one of those things that you hear about, but you never really look into it. But at some point I saw a headline about it, and I was like, nah, that can't be right. So I actually checked it out, and it is insane. These people have all lost their minds. It's crazy. So yeah, Misha, struggling in this game, being used as a bit of a punching ball up here at the front. But loyal as she is, and yes, it's a she, starting to make her way back into it. Li Ming dead again. Li Ming. No whack-a-mole plays here with a big calamity move or anything. She goes down, but the fight is now focusing again on Misha. Who would have thought? Everybody on the blue team is also low, and it's actually the minions that take down Maiev. Maiev is dead, 12 kills to 10. There's still some play at the top with a Sentinel, and you can't leave a Sentinel alone at the top lane. That is not working out for you guys. I can already tell you that much. Somebody has to retreat and deal with it, but with the 2 kills against the blue team, they're definitely spread thin a bit. And yeah, red team should now have a chance to go and do some serious damage here. But as you can tell, the wall has been destroyed. The keep itself has taken damage, so it's about as good as it gets. Uki over here, still trying to flank a little bit, secure this. He also, if maybe somebody goes... Oh, they want the Sentinel. Oh, that should actually work out for them. Garage is not going to be back, so unless the Dead Insiders are willing to potentially sacrifice another hero here, that should work out. Timing on Li Ming did not work out, but yep, they get the camp. And they're also completing the quest on Rexa, which means a bit more survivability for him and Misha. Good on them. But yep, here we go. It's, by the way, always amusing to me how people get upset and annoyed about the weirdest things. There were literally like discussions going on about whether Misha is male or female. To a point where I, who doesn't give a fuck about World of Warcraft, went to Google and looked it up. So yeah, it's kind of bonkers. People are going to get really... people are getting really mad at you if you mess anything like that up. So they're like, you don't understand. And then they turn out to be dead wrong. Horrify, yeah. They were initially trying to save Mirrodin, but then at some point they gotta realize, okay, this is not happening. So a valiant sacrifice here. Payload is back up on the map. We still have 1 fort in there, and here comes Rega with the Ancestral. Little doggy that could. You can say about none what you want. He might have died a lot, and he might have struggled a bit to really get full value, but at the same time, he's been dodging one disc after another. He's an absolute prime target for the blue team. Whenever they have a chance, they're trying to come in for him every single time. But yeah, so right now we got 20,000 for Rexa, we got 56,000 for Hanzo, and 20,000 for Rexa honestly surprises me a little bit. But yeah, 52k also for our boy Gul'dan. And for quite some time now, the red team has looked pretty solid. It is the blue team that is all of a sudden starting to take advantage of those numbers they had on the map and try to take the final fort down. So the last one down here at the bottom right, coming in and eliminated. They're ahead in kills too. Now, keep in mind, if they win this one, they advance to the next round of the tournament. With a 2-0 then, this early round is a best of 3. We're gonna head into best of 5 matches later on. Arrow connecting with 3, nice! But they lose the cap regardless. There's the Horrify and the kill. Mirrodin didn't stand a chance here. Deckard Cain is down as well. The blue team with the double kill. Now there is a catapult down here that is doing some work, but of course they are going to be the ones to eliminate the bottom fort now, which they already did. Yeah, a little bit low there, but was able to heal himself. It's always dangerous when you have somebody running around with less than 100 hit points. You know they're about to get Hanzo'd. Hanzo is just looking for that angle and trying to hit it, but yeah, he got his hit points back quickly enough. Blue team has now pulled ahead heavily in kills and also in experience. I mean, we're talking about a 5-kill lead for them. But, yeah. I mean, this game is nearly dead even. It's a half-level difference between the two teams that lead to the early level 20 for the Dead Insiders. And with that, we also get the Deadly Calm. The only thing... I honestly don't even understand this name. The last thing that I want from Garrett is to be calm. I mean, he's the roaring war chief that's just yelling at everybody. And he shouldn't really lose that. I mean, it's usually the quiet ones that you have to watch out for. I totally agree. but still, like, it doesn't really fit the hero. So yeah, bit of a weird naming there. So, seems like we're gonna have a couple of shots fired for the blue team. There's no way for the Raiders to contest this without level 20, so they're gonna try for that first. Still, I gotta deal with the Sentinel down at the bottom of the map before they lock in their level 20. The Radric staff is in, and yeah, feign death. This sound is so dumb. I mean, the ice block and all of that, I get it, you know? You know what's happening. But feign death always sounds like you can actually fool somebody. Who's fooled by Rexa using feign death? You're not sitting there as like, oh, I guess he's dead, let's walk away. You know exactly that it's just a fucking ice block. So why is that even a thing? They could have called it anything else, but like feign death, I mean, give it a different animation, just give him an ice block, give him a wood block or something. Or a fur block. I don't care, but feign death, worst act in the universe. Nobody believes that shit. I mean, sorry, but this is just not a thing. He has the acting range of Rings of Power actor. It's embarrassing. But either way, 16 kills to 12, and thanks to Garrosh going down quickly, the Raiders are all of a sudden having the upper hand in this bot lane fight. And damn, they are looking in a second kill too. Urel is gone, and I guess that means we're also going to lose the keep here. Spray, apparently is still on with the spray game, but his team is all of a sudden getting a bit murdered at the bot lane. That keep is gone, and the question is simply, can they go further than that? Misha again going down pretty quickly here. There's no real camps to be taken, only on the red team side, and I don't think they're going to be happy just taking that. So instead they're looking for kills, and they find them. They take Garrosh down, they take Rhaegar down, and that changes everything. Damn, the entire team is eliminated. 5-man team wipe. They drop Maiev, and what looked like a potential defense of the core is now turning into a victory in map 2 for the Raiders. It's a 1-1 as we are headed for the third and final map in this first round of Meta MAPness. GG. The series is tight, ladies. We got game number 3 going on. On the left, we got Shizakid on Mirrodin, Bishops on Dehaka. We are on Forehead Junction. Anime Powers playing Sylvanas. We got Limo on Hanzo, and Alex, Badman, the man with the spray game on Rhaegar. 3 Rhaegars in a row, right? Right side of the map, it's Unforgiven on Lucio. We got Uki on Janna. Nano is playing Junkrat. We got Gavlo on Sergeant Hammer. And Sven on Blaze. So Gavlo has at this point moved from Genji to Hanzo to Sergeant Hammer. With every single game that was played, he lost mobility. So pretty much the reverse evolution of Heroes of the Storm, where the mobility creep definitely did a bit of a number on a lot of mages, Kelthas included. Lucio runs straight into a Stormbolt, and now he needs a dentist. Good skin though. I really, really like the skin. So Gavlo, he is going for the Panzer. It's always the Germans that play Sergeant Hammer. I mean, with very, very few exceptions, it's always the Germans. And it always ends the same way, or well, often it does. Finland Raiders, can they advance to the next round of the tournament? Are they going to drop down into the losers bracket? Will the Dead Insiders pull it off again after they just lost on Hanamura? No, I guess time will tell. We got... Oof, Jojo is getting junked a little bit over here. Yeah, Limu. This time on Hanzo himself. No Tracer, no Genji this time. And, well, up towards the top. We got Bishops and Sven playing this out. The Bumblebee skin for Dehaka is kind of nice. I gotta say that, so Transformers, Bumblebee was one of the better Transformer movies. I was talking in the past how, especially the last 2 or 3, I can't even remember, Transformer movies were just like utter garbage, and how I fucking hate Michael Bay because the only thing that guy can do is like throw explosions around. And I literally had one visit to the cinema where I was sitting there and I didn't even understand anymore. Why are things exploding? Who's fighting whom right now? And it was just ridiculous. But I watched the recent trailer of the new Transformer movie that's coming out, like Beast Wars or something. it looks dumb, but honestly, it looked kind of fun. And I haven't seen Michael Bay's name on anything there, so I have high hopes that this might be a halfway decent Transformer movie. I don't need I don't need it to be the best movie ever, but if it's just some innocent action fun with not too many plot holes within the universe that they create, that would be fantastic. After all the entertainment trash that we've seen in the last, especially in the last year in 2022. I mean, She-Hulk, Rings of Power, and what did they drop towards the end of the year? The Witcher Origin series. I mean, holy fuck, Hollywood. I mean, give me a break. Like, how can you guys be so horseshit? But yeah, Beast Wars, the trailer looked entertaining. I mean, still probably going to be dumb, but as long as it's fun dumb, I'm okay with it. But probably the trailer oversold it and I'm going to be horribly disappointed and hate my life after watching it. So yeah, either way. So, with that, we now have topside, level 6, and it seems like the initial start, at least for the Raiders, is pretty solid. We have the first objective now popping up, but they've been able to take the top wall down already, and Sergeant Hammer is obviously doing Hammer things. Siege tactics built here with the level 4 choice of Khaldor, so not going down the path of Nick. But we have with 4 warheads on the map now, an opportunity for the teams to get a little bit more push power here. So, first one already locked in. Shizakid is there. Down at the bottom of the map, they're starting with Sylvanas to break through the wall. Generally speaking, that is not on time though. They're not going to get the... No, they're not going to get the minion wave. You kind of want to time it around that if you can. But I was about to say that with all of the pressure plays that we get from Sylvanas and Sergeant Hammer, you can really see that wave clear and structural damage is absolutely key here. So that's currently what's happening with Sylvanas being rotated onto the lanes. Sergeant Hammer is going to try and make similar plays. Map is made a lot smaller with that tunnel, so you can at least use that to control the map a little bit further. But at the bottom of the map, damage has been done. They were able to open this up a little bit. Sergeant Hammer has now her mobility talent on level 7. But Sylvanas is up to her usual shenanigans all the way towards the top as she pushes through. However, Siege Mode is helping Sergeant Hammer in the meantime to busy herself in the mid lane a little bit and try and do the same thing here with the next minion wave. And Bishops is just walking around, bumbling along. Blaze at the bottom of the map, inviting him to a little 1v1 as we get some extra shots fired. But I gotta say that the teams could definitely play this a little bit better with some of the warhead timings, because in an ideal world what you want to do is time it so that the minion wave gets hit by it as well. Now, Junkrat dies again. Second time in a row against him. So the red gets junked a few times here. But the teams have both done some significant damage, more so from the blue team's perspective though. They were able to nearly drop the top 4 down, well actually a little bit below 50% HP even. And down at the bottom of the map, the outer structure has also taken damage. So yeah, everything is Gucci from their perspective. The one thing that's always fun with the Russian-Ukrainian teams is that they're just going totally ham in regards to team fights. And I think we've seen that in multiple games already. It's only the first round of the tournament. I always said the one thing that would make tournaments really interesting, we need to make an offline tournament where we just have heavy drinkers playing, and then every single kill the team that loses a hero needs to take a shot. Can you imagine how funny that tournament would get towards the end of it? Oh, those are rules that you can't really enforce on an official tournament, but if you ever have a couple of boys over and do that, oh, that must be just fucking funny. You have cameras everywhere, and you play a tournament that lasts for 5-6 hours, and every time that you lose a hero or lose a map, I mean, you can obviously adjust it a little bit. You have to take a shot. Can you imagine how the final few games would look like? You would go from high-level Grandmaster competitive player performance down to just Bronze 5. It would be hilarious. Kind of dangerous towards the end, I guess, but yeah. Oh, what a hit! Nice! That was beautiful. Good job, Jojo. A perfect hit with the Blessed Shield, and Sylvanas just got crushed there. Yeah, 2 kills to 2, and both teams with level 10. So currently all the way up at the top. Gavlo protecting their fort, but it's 2 warheads on the map that the teams can now fight over. And with both of them on nearly identical experience... Oh, there it is! The arrow! Limu with a heavy hit, saving Muradin, and maybe even initiating a counterplay. Grenades everywhere. He has to have like some button combo where he presses the spray then automatically. Is he really dropping this many sprays manually every single game? I mean, talk about some game. That boy is on fire over there. Whew. Anime power with the pleb horse. And there's the channel for Muradin. So the dwarf with a big nuke. Yeah, another one is about to get channeled by Limu. Maybe an interrupt. Gavlo! Yes, has napalm. That helps him too. Up at the top, they can still make a play here. And they won't even have to use the warhead. Because Sylvanas is here. And that changes things very quickly in their favor. Jojo was hoping to defend this a bit longer, but couldn't really, so no rotation happening. But instead at the bottom of the map, they're slowing Rega. Hoping to get a hold of him and then drop the doggy. Not working out yet, but yeah, they're at least doing some damage here. Now, it's still a pretty open game. One structure has been destroyed, no more than that. Spray game not on point over here. Nah, I'm sorry, but we already have a winner in that category. Nobody is going to fuck with Rega on that one. He's just way too strong on this. Spray after spray after spray throughout 3 games. Diligent as usual. Like, that man definitely definitely deserves the spray game award. Vision being fought over down here too. We still have one warhead on the map. Dehaka, this is of course a big advantage now for the blue team, that once that the map opens up a little bit and you take some of these forts down, Dehaka can use his global and escort this in a bit further. What oftentimes also ends the games on warhead is the boss at the top side. So that makes the top lane pretty much the most important lane on this map. And there are so... Ooh, nice arrow. Double connect. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. Lucio is dead. Dehaka is also in the mix and is immediately making a beeline for Junkrat, who gets attacked here. Gavlo is also in trouble. The Dehaka flank. And that's a kill. No! What? 80 hit points! And he gets out. That cooldown could have come back. A second later, he would have died. But instead of going for Sergeant Hammer, they are able to take down Blaze, so that's still a kill. And the fort at the bottom of the map is also going to be taken. It's kind of funny to me that Junkrat is still more or less alive and trying to escape, but Nano is not going to make it. He is trying to get some counter damage in and maybe a lucky punch, but that's not a kill. So 2 heroes down, 5 kills to 3, level 13 on the board for both teams right now. But the top lane is going to get attacked soon. And you can already tell that with Rega, Hanzo and Sylvanas, the Dream Team is making a play for the boss. And as I said earlier, this is usually what ends the game. Now, not this early in the game, but boss pushes on this map are pretty devastating. Especially if you can enhance them further with a couple of heroes like Sylvanas, for example. You can make this insanely dangerous. So, well, they go for the boss. We got Muradin falling, though, and that's kind of a problem. That arrow from Hanzo came a bit too late. It's kind of unfortunate for the blue team, because if they would have kept Muradin alive, that's a 5-man push with a boss. And bosses on this map are just absolutely insane. Even 10 minutes in, you could have gotten good value out of it. Now that they have only 4 heroes on the map, this is going to do very little, because the red team can just fully go into defense mode and attack it right there. But the one thing that's still going to happen is that the Dead Insiders are going to have a lot of time on the map, because obviously you have to commit a lot of resources to take this boss down before it reaches the wall and potentially damages your keep. So they were able to take some camps, or they can steal them. They pushed into the mid lane a little bit, as we already saw. Another one is about to be taken. But still a bit of a wasted opportunity. These bosses are very, very strong, even early on in the game, so there would have been a chance for them to make a play. And talking about making plays, do we have a Hanzo arrow? Nah, 10-second cooldown, but they get the Wailing arrow out, and Hanzo's arrow back in 6 seconds. Coming in with everyone they have, and especially Blaze is in trouble, but so is the Dehaka. The Ancestral comes too late. Hanzo gets his arrow as the fight is already over. Still YOLOs it out and completely misses the target. Ooh, that one is flying and flying and flying. Duracell battery is definitely involved there. I mean, rumor has it that arrow is still flying today. It's going to hit Florida any second now. So, level 16 coming up next. Regarding damage output, we got 31,000 for Sergeant Hammer, and they're trying to pad their stacks a little bit against Muradin. I mean, he just died, and Shizakid is in trouble again. They really want him, and they're chasing him down hard, at least they're trying. Hanzo, yeah, that's the moment where you want that arrow again. The camp gets taken, and the Raiders are getting their early level 16, and that also means that they are getting Giant Killer for Sergeant Hammer. And as I say it, I realize that I'm lying, and it's Executioner instead. So, yeah, Executioner is in. And they got, I mean, they got a lot that they can combo that off with, but still, 16 on both sides now. Now, we have a structural advantage for the blue team. I was like trying to figure out a little bit, okay, who's really in a good position here. And technically, the Dead Insiders, they are a little bit ahead. Kill count between the two teams is nearly identical. Dehaka is, of course, the big advantage now for the team on the left. They can use him over and over again to escort some of those minion waves and maybe even catapults later towards this keep. And if he is the one that locks in some of those warheads, he can also utilize them right there in order to make some plays. So definitely dangerous to have Dehaka against you. And as the red team is focusing all of their attention onto the bot lane, the move into the middle of the map is pretty much inevitable. The Dead Insiders just realized that defending is not really an option, so instead they are trying to trade damage and take the remaining fort down. Arrows being used again, this time to save Muradin, and it connected. And Dehaka is using the warhead. Now, timing not happening with the minion wave, that could have made this even better, but of course it's a little bit more iffy if you're all alone at the top and you have to expect that there's a rotation coming your way, so you can forgive him for not trying to wait this out longer. I mean, one of the goals there was just like drop the damage the structures and survive. 17 to 17, boss is going to be up in a minute and a half again, so can still be taken. But most of the forts are now gone. The top fort is the only one that's still standing, and it doesn't really seem like the blue team is too attached to it. I mean, they are moving slowly towards the top to maybe defend it, but vision has been lost here, so if they just sneak through the map, the Dead Insiders are going to be well aware from where they are approaching. Stormbolt still being YOLO'd out here, and the Iron Skin is preventing any significant damage from coming out. But Dehaka has now shifted target down to the bottom of the map, so instead of just funning around at the top, they're trying to make a dent at the bot lane defense. But as I say that, this fort is still looking pretty... Oh, nice arrow! Okay, the arrow from hell apparently, and that's a nice follow-up also from Bishops with his isolation, so they get a Lucio kill. That came out of nowhere. Fort still fell, but losing Lucio is definitely not great for them here, so Hanzo with a fantastic job. This time, one of those high-risk arrows that worked extremely well was a good follow-up too, and it now led to a lead and experience for the Dead Insiders, which is obviously where Dehaka also contributes a lot. I mean, if you're looking at the experience total for Dehaka here, he's highest in the game, above Blaze. They're also doing a fairly decent job on mercenary experience in particular. But the passive experience gain that they have through the extra forts that they took down is especially noticeable. That's an added 2,000, nearly 3,000 XP that they got there. The boss is back up, and without the support in play for the Raiders, this is maybe even an opportunity for the Dead Insiders to take it. But instead they were laying the trap there, hoping to get more kills, and Lucio is just back on the map as we have Sergeant Hammer die. Junkrat nearly got eliminated too, and they're still chasing them. Half a level until level 20. We got Sergeant Hammer down. If they get another kill here, then we're going to see them go for either boss or directly for the keep. 100%. The entire team on the right side, the Raiders, they're super low. Jojo is the next one to fall. And now there's the move being made. Sylvanas, they're all here. Of course, they're disabling this quickly. And the dream for them would be to get another kill and then maybe even go for the core. But even falling back after claiming the keep and going for the boss would be a great play for them here. And arguably the safer one to be made, especially since they now can also go for another warhead. There's 4 warheads in total. Dehaka is already waddling towards the middle in order to claim another one. And if they get all of these warheads and the boss, then this is probably going to be a lights out move. The Raiders I don't think they can defend this. If they can get an isolation kill against bishops, then maybe. But we already have Mirrodin trying to help him out here. Up at the top, that boss is going to be claimed. And the only thing the Raiders can do is try and get a quick kill. And it's just not happening. Not only is bishops here, but Mirrodin is also helping him out. Should probably not try to fight this one, but the boss is now taken with level 20 talent advantage, with level 16 on the board. They should be able to go for the core here. And if they are able to claim a few more warheads, then that would make things even easier. Same, on the other hand, also goes for the red team. So if they are the ones now locking those warheads in, they could use them to defend and make this maybe possible. But there's 2 warheads in the hands of the Dead Insiders. And Sylvanas is now coming in here too, so with a good Wailing Arrow as a follow-up. Yeah, she's jumping in heavily, and there's the Wailing Arrow right there. They're pushing them back. Nuke already is being used here. That's just the first one. And it hits the boss hard, but still, this is a difficult position for the Raiders to be in. Nuke after nuke is being thrown down here. It's full Armageddon as we see the Dead Insiders go for the core, and this is gonna be all she wrote. Even with Sylvanas dead, there's no saving this anymore. The right clicks are happening, 8 kills to 6, and the Dead Insiders move on to the next round of the tournament as they send the Raiders packing, and the red team drops into the losers bracket. GG.